So today I've been surprised with Aftermath being released earlier than I thought, so I couldn't not showcase the new Infinite combo in Standard. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I'm playing some Standard with one very shiny new card that creates a pretty powerful infinite combo you're going to be sick of in no time. Bit of a shorter video today, but I absolutely wanted to get this out as soon as possible. But before we get going, I want to thank everyone for their support for this channel, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below to not miss out. Plus, you'll be massively supporting the channel in the meantime too. But onto this deck, and today we're creating an infinite combo to ping our opponents to death with a new card from Aftermath. It's Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin. So this is a 4-cost 4/3 with flying and trample, and says whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Ob Nixilis, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card until the end of your next end step. Now, I don't care about the exiling, but the other ability pairs perfectly with All Will Be One. It's the 5-drop enchantment that says whenever one or more counters are put on a permanent or player, All Will Be One does that much damage to target opponent. Essentially, with just these 2 cards on the battlefield, you need to do just exactly 1 point of damage to your opponent to create an infinite damage loop. The rest of the deck is interaction and creatures and spells that do exactly 1 damage, so I'll whiz through it, but it's all very familiar if you ever played a Rakdos deck. We've got Voldaren Epicures as pingers that create blood, Trespassers which also do exactly 1 damage when they attack if you only target 1 creature in a graveyard. I've got Kessig Flamebreathers which do 1 damage each time you cast a non-land spell. I'm playing the much loved Harvesters and Fables because we're in Rakdos and they're the best cards in those colours. We've got Cutdowns, Go for the Throats, and Edicts for removal. A copy of Ob Nixilis the Planeswalker to create a devil that can ping our opponents if needed, and I'm playing Invasion of Azgol. It's a battle that when it ETBs, target opponent sacks a creature or Planeswalker, but most importantly takes 1 damage. I've got 25 lands and that's it. Pretty simple combo here in a shell that's already pretty strong. Aftermath has just literally released on Arena, and I really wanted to get a really quick video up to showcase this combo. I'm sure you're going to see it a load over the next few days, not just in Rakdos but probably in Jund too. But this is my first raw draft of this deck and my first couple of games I played in it, so enjoy. Alright, I mean, what an opening hand with Ob Nixilis and All Will Be One in it, so we'll definitely be keeping this one. Opponent with a forest, that's fine by me. See what they want to play. Another forest, and it's a Scrap Gorger. Okay, well, we have Go for the Throat there. Looks like we're just going to be... well, I mean, just trying to find the 5 mana to get these 2 cards on the battlefield and then finding a way to ping our opponent. Augur of Autumn. So I'm pretty happy with playing against a mono green deck here. Hoping that there's no interaction to deal with our Kingpin when that hits the battlefield. We'll play the Harvester here for a bit of value. I don't really care about this Augur of Autumn at the moment. And yeah, we're a combo deck, so not too fussed if they throw down a load of creatures. Sarif. And let's keep the blood on the battlefield in case we need to use the Harvester later. 5th mana there is fantastic, so not too scared of our opponent's board. We'll play our Kingpin here. 4/3 flying trample. So the hardest part for us is going to do us going to be able to do just 1 damage to the opponent when All Will Be One is on the battlefield. So this set just dropped within the last like 15 minutes. Took me by surprise. I saw it on Twitter. I thought it was coming out on Thursday, but luckily I kind of had a rough draft of a deck here. So we draw another Kingpin. This gives us an option to play All Be One though. And yeah, we can just sit tight, and we've got a plethora of ways to do 1 damage to our opponent. But yeah, I feel like this deck could be played in a sort of Jund deck with Storm the Festival. I think that would work pretty well. Just to try and find ways to get Ob Nixilis, All Will Be One, and a pinger onto the battlefield sort of all at the same time. Because we do run the risk with Ob Nixilis on the battlefield here of it just getting removed. But luckily we're playing against green, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And opponent with Vivian here. So we're just looking for like an Epicure, a Trespasser, a Flamebreather, because we have Go for the Throat in our hand. Yeah, anything really. Okay, there's a Trespasser. So as long as there's a creature in the graveyard, and it is, there's a Scrap Gorger, we just play the Trespasser here. It's going to exile the Scrap Gorger, do 1 damage to our opponent, which triggers Ob Nixilis, which triggers All Be One. And yeah, this should be the infinite loop. And we're just going to sit here now, and hopefully the opponent scoops it up. Or they're going to sit here and make us go through all of this. But as you can see, we are also exiling our cards here to attack down our opponent. At the end of the day as well, Ob Nixilis is getting bigger itself. So maybe a way to... that card that has backup to sacrifice it to whack your opponent might be a good option in this deck. Thrill Seeker. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem here. But yeah, this is just showing off the combo. I mean, this is what I really wanted to get out as quick as possible today. Because this is a silly little combo that's pretty easy to pull off, really. Especially on the day one, where our opponents don't actually realise what's happening. They've probably never seen this Kingpin card. And fortunately, they didn't scoop it up, but that's not a problem at all. We just sat here and pinged our opponent to death, and that's the combo. All right, on the play, a mega strong hand in any Rakdos deck with our Harvester and our Fable. 2 cards sticking around for another year. 2 cards I would be happy not to see stick around for another year, but whilst they're legal, I'm going to play them still. So the Harvester here, fantastic card, allows us to filter away our cards in the hand we don't want, looking for All Be One, looking for our Ob Nixilis. Opponent with a farm hand, though, in some kind of multicolored deck. We'll drop our Fable. And might as well attack, because we are not going to be doing anything else with our Harvester this turn. I don't care about the farm hand right now. So slightly flooding a little bit, but that's where Fable is fantastic. It's going to allow us to get rid of a couple of these lands from our hand. Find some gas. There's a Bankbuster. Okay, draw another swamp. All right, we'll get rid of these 2 swamps. Okay, 2 more lands. All right, this is not looking great for us. But I guess we have an attack here. And yeah, end the turn there. Forgot to play a land, it seems. That's pretty dumb, but oh well. Sarah Paragon for our opponent. Okay, not a card I really want to see, but there's nothing really in their graveyard for them to get value from. And they're getting in there with their Bankbuster. Okay, fair enough. So... okay, their defenses are down here. We'll discard one of these lands we've got. Try and find some of our big boys as we draw another land, a mountain, and Fable. Okay. All right, I do promise you this is a combo deck. This is not just a Rakdos deck. But yeah, are we racing? Is that what we're doing right now? I mean, they're on 12. I guess we can put them down to 7. And yeah, threatening lethal next turn if they want to do some attacks. And it's Courtyard for opponent. Worst thing there is that they are going to gain a life. But they have 4 mana open here. And it's Lay Down Arms on our reflection of Kiki Jiki. I mean, sure, resolve that. Reflection would have been nice with the Harvester next turn. But so be it. No real good attacks for our opponent there. Alright, it springs, but we have another Fable activation, so get to ditch a couple more lands here. And there is, oh, there's our Kingpin, and there is our Trespasser. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to ditch this farm. I'm going to kill this farmhand right now. And, Guess we'll attack with the team. They're going to put the opponent at least down to 4 here. So they block one of my 2/2s. I'm fine with that. Okay, they have other cards in their hand. So I Ganjo for our Harvester. All right, so we're going to knock them down to 6, but we do get to resolve a Trespasser now. Just trying to win the game sort of the fair way right now. Put the opponent down to 5. Land and Kingpin. I guess they could have a board wipe, but they might do, they might not do. But Ob Nixilis and Trespasser on the graveyard, on the battlefield, is exactly what we need in case we find a Orby one. That would be a lethal attack from our Trespasser. So I don't really care that the opponent killed our Harvester. It just gives us more fuel from our graveyard. Opponent gains another life with the Courtyard. Actually, they go up to 8 now, so... But they are digging with the Bankbuster. Wonder if they've ever seen this Kingpin before. So I'm sure there are so many combos with this card. But yeah, like I said, this is just my sort of first take of it, just to see how it works. Okay, there is Orby one. All right, nice. All right, so surely this is going to resolve. They've just got a couple of Jetmir's Gardens and a Plane, so yeah, this should be lethal. I mean, I just play this. I think the worst thing is if they exile my Kingpin here, but we can just attack with the Trespasser only and exile our Bloodtithe Harvester here. And we're just hoping now the opponent doesn't have a way to interact with our Kingpin. It doesn't look like it. No. There's the combo again. Alright, so kind of was going the fair Rakdos way there. It does make you play the deck slightly differently. Opponent scoops it up, they see the writing on the wall. And yeah, nice little victory there. Alright, on the play here. Pretty decent hand. Yeah, we have a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 drop, so I like where we are. We've even got the Cliffs to play. Our opponent mulligans, okay. We'll drop our Epicure now. Could have held it for the Kingpin a bit later on, but chances of us finding another card that pings are pretty high, and there's one already with the Trespasser. Opponent with an island though. So we'll tap first. And they've definitely got something in their hand. There's a tiny bit of stick here, unless they're in full control. We'll just have to hold open our Go for the Throat. Opponent with a second island, so mono blue. I would have thought, unless they're missing a color. But yeah, we'll just keep hitting the opponent for 1 here. So we did draw all will be 1 there, so we just need to try and find a way to get those cards resolved, especially if the opponent's playing counter spells. I think the best way to do that is just to keep playing our own spells, see if we can stop them from drawing or keeping counter spells. But our Fable resolves there. So Wizards just announced that Standard is going to sit around for another, well, the current Standard cycle is going to stay around for another year. So not sure how everyone feels about that. I wonder if Fable's going to stick around for that amount of time though, because me putting together this deck today, I mean, it was the very first card that goes into the deck, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and they've got their reasons, so we'll have to manage that. But Fable great in this deck as it allows us to filter our cards to try and find Orby one. Plus, the token it creates does allow us to play Orby one turn earlier if we need to. Just going to drop Ob Nixilis if we can here. Opponent hasn't done anything so far, and presumably this is just going to be countered, but we need to play our spells, because one way or another I need to win this game, and I'm not going to win it by not doing anything, but it does resolve. Okay, Thirst for Discovery from our opponent. Alright. So maybe they don't have any counter spells. That would slightly surprised me, unless this is a different version of blue that I'm not aware of. Okay, they passed the turn here. So if we get a chance to resolve this Orby one, we should be able to win the game if we can just do 1 damage to our opponent in itself. I'm presuming they've got like a Fading Hope or something. So I could attack just with the Epicure here, but I think I'm going to attack with the Epicure and the 2/2. We have a Flamebreather for next turn and Fable, so well, we'll see what happens with this Orby one. But yeah, I just need to do 1 damage to my opponent now. I accidentally attacked with the 4/3. Oh well. So my thought there was attacking with the 1/1 and the 2/2, and they're probably going to Fading Hope the 2/2. Okay, well, that was a bit of a mess. They've created a copy of my 4/3, and I'm guessing they're going to block it. Alright, that was my bad there. Should never have attacked with that 4/3. Yeah, so had I not done that, they would have made a 4/3, blocked the 2/2, taken 1 damage from the Epicure, and then the infinite loot would have started. So, slightly annoying. Yeah, really annoying there, but they had C-double. I wasn't expecting that card necessarily. I should have probably thought about it a little bit more. I saw the all will be one on the battlefield and thought, let's just get in there, but so be it. Okay, so opponent is hovering over our reflection here. And Blue Sun's Twilight to grab it. Okay. So I don't mind where we are. They're tapped out. They're on 10 life. We'll play Fable here. That will trigger Orby 1. I'm just going to hit the reflection probably so I can attack with both my creatures. I'm sure they're going to want to block the 2/2 anyway, but just try and find a way to win this game as quick as possible before a massive spell drops that takes over the game from their end. So a lot of their big spells so far are proving to be sort of defensive plays. I'm still pretty peeved with myself that I attacked with the 4/3 earlier, because I think this game would have been over by now. But yeah, we'll play our Trespasser here anyway. Take that C-double from the opponent's grave. And this needs to be a pretty good turn for them here, because we've got a lot of damage coming through next turn. Okay, they don't do anything. So they must have just counter spells in their hand, or ways to steal my creatures. But yeah, our mono blue player here is in the tank, and they have been most of their turns. Okay, they do pass the turn to us though, so that does turn our 4/4 our Trespasser into the Glutton. And I guess we get to ping our opponent here for 1. Anyway, we're getting down to A. I'm just going to discard both these cards. I'm looking for Ob Nixilis here. And there he is. Alright, so hopefully this resolves. If this resolves, I feel like we're hoping the opponent just having like a Fading Hope or something in their hand. But we should be able to see off this game. Opponents. Here, it does resolve. Alright, so this time we'll be a little bit smarter with our attacks. We'll attack just with the Graveyard Glutton. And we did just put our creature into the graveyard, so we should have something in there to exile. And this is the 1 damage to our opponent's face. That should start the Kingpin Orby 1 combo here. So yeah, this deck seems pretty strong already. I mean, like I said, it's only been out for a few, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And this is the second time I've actually managed to get this little combo working. Yeah, we'll see if the opponent has any way of dealing with my Ob Nixilis here. Well, I feel like my opponent has disconnected in some fashion, so when this timer runs out, we should be able to, yeah, and it's just going to automatically do this for us. So I don't know if our opponent had any interaction there, but we managed to combo off again. So yeah, it's all about just getting the 2 cards onto the battlefield, and the rest kind of sort of takes care of itself. Nice.